Hi there. My name is Jessica Bretschneider, and I work at Benefits by Design. I am pleased to be joined today by my fellow colleague, Christina Thorne, as she shares how BBD has been able to create and implement a health and wellness strategy. Stick around after the main presentation for a question and answer session. At BBD, we operate on the principle that there are no silly questions, ever. If you do have a question, please type it into the GoToWebinar question interface. We will do our best to address them at the end of our webinar. This webinar is being recorded. You'll receive a follow-up email with a link to the recording after the webinar. If you have any questions or concerns about this webinar, please contact us at socialmedia@bbd.ca. In addition to being our HR generalist, Christina Thorne, also known as Tina, is an avid golfer, amateur bird caller, and BBD's Healthy Workplace Initiative champion. And without further ado, let me welcome Christina Thorne.
Thank you very much, Jess, and hello to all attendees today. Health and wellness is definitely a hot topic in organizations and is certainly an overarching theme within our culture here at BBD. Hopefully during this webinar, you're going to gain some great insight into how our health and wellness program is structured and supported, and maybe you'll find some new ways that you can incorporate health and wellness into your organization. So with Jess's intro, there isn't much else to know about me, but when it comes to health and wellness, I am not considered an expert. I really enjoy this area of focus in my professional and personal life. If anyone has ever done Mud Hero, which is pictured here, I don't think they'd consider it to be the healthiest activity, but I know I got a sense of accomplishment from completing it with my coworker Darcy Shea pictured and getting outside of my comfort zone. A little over a year ago, the opportunity came to lead the project for how we could revamp and improve BBD's health and wellness program. I've worked really closely with our team over the past year. I've gained some great insight, and I'm really excited to share some of our learnings with you. For today's discussion, we're going to be looking at a few things. So first off, we're going to be looking at a brief history of health and wellness at BBD, a few main areas to consider when you're building your own wellness program. What is it that BBD currently is focusing on for our health and wellness? And towards the end, we're going to look at some resources and next steps that you can use for your organization. Being in the employee benefits industry for almost over 20 years, BBD's always had the health and wellness for our groups and employees in mind. Like many other companies, BBD was no different, and we recognize the importance of supporting our employees' health and wellness in one way or another. To give you a bit of insight, I wanted to share just a few stats with you that were released in the 2017 Sanofi Canada Health and Wellness Survey. So the first one I wanted to share was that 63% of plan members with workplace wellness programs say that their benefits plan meets their needs extremely or very well, versus just 46% among those without wellness programs. The other stat I wanted to share was that 53% of plan members agree that their workplace culture encourages health and wellness, but this is down from 62% in 2012. So you can see by these stats that it's telling us that even if employees have access to a health and wellness program, they may not be aware of these programs, or the culture just might not align to them. Here at BBD, we knew that we didn't want to become part of this downward trend, and we did our best to avoid that. So what we did in the beginning is that we were very focused on employee physical health, from alternative desk options to fitness challenges. We did lunch hour boot camps, and we have fresh fruits and veggies weekly. We encourage employees to move throughout the day, and we make sure that they can avoid the sedentary effects that offices have the tendency to promote. But we knew that there was more that we could be doing. So in an effort to expand beyond physical fitness in the office, we decided to find ways that we could impact our employees' health and wellness. So working with our health and wellness committees, we surveyed BBD employees and we got their feedback. And from this, we were able to improve our program. Now I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, so I'm going to rewind a little bit, start from the beginning, and we can look at a few areas that you can focus on, whether you have a wellness program in place or maybe you're just beginning. Now, whether you're an employer or an employee on this webinar, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that you have some interest in health and wellness for either your organization or maybe it's on a personal note. But have you asked yourself why? The first thing that we did when we started our wellness program is we asked ourselves why we wanted to expand to more than just a physical fitness focus. We had participated in the 2016 Healthy Workplaces Survey, which was offered by Morneau Shepell and the Globe and Mail, and we received some feedback from our employees on areas which were specifically physical, mental, work, and life-related areas. So these were pointed out as areas of strength and areas that we could improve upon. We also looked at the general reports from our EAP usage, so we knew a few things, starting right off the hop. We knew that physical health was an area that we always focused on. We knew that we wanted our employees to be happy and healthy at work. We knew we had pieces of a successful health and wellness program, and there were opportunities for us to improve. But what we did not know is if our programs and resources were being used to their maximum potential and what areas that we were missing out on. As an employer considering the following question, why do you want to incorporate health and wellness at your organization can help your program succeed. As an employee, if you're listening to this webinar, maybe asking yourself, what do you want to see your organization doing for your health and wellness? And consider who you might bring these suggestions to. And there are many reasons that organizations start building a program. So these could range from, you might have seen having high performing companies that have done this. So you wonder if it's maybe something you should be looking into. To think that as an employee, during the average work week, we spend 50% of our waking hours in the office. Having an employer who actually wants to make it a healthy and well workplace is really important. So your employees may have already expressed the need and the want for these programs. You care, and it might be just an extension of your culture. There's the potential for it to decrease your insurance costs, and as an employer, you may see the need to help your employees change their overall health. So given that you've had some serious time to think about why you want to implement your health and wellness program, the next step is knowing where you should go with this great idea. The good news is that you don't necessarily have to do this alone. So you can engage your colleagues and start a health and wellness committee to find new and diverse ideas. Chances are in your organization, you've got a few people who enjoy living a healthy lifestyle, and it would be in their interest to discuss these subjects with their colleagues. BBD's Health and Wellness Committee has roughly 17 members, so we're very lucky that we've got so much interest in this certain area, and we meet monthly to brainstorm ideas, events, and campaigns for our employees. Now, not all of the initiatives or programs that we do is going to be a fit for everyone, but that's okay. In the scenario that you don't have any interest from your employees who want to join a committee, that's fine, okay, no problem. It just means that you're going to maybe have health and wellness events that aren't as frequent or as complex, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to be effective. At BBD, we always like to say simple is better. So if you are a team of one for your health and wellness program, there's no need to try and do the work of 5 people. It can still work. So now that you have the interest and potentially a group of people, we want to start getting a little more specific. Based on the 2017 Sanofi Canada Health Survey, which I referenced earlier, it also gave the statistic that 51% of plan sponsors offer wellness programs or policies, but these are virtually unchanged from previous years. It doesn't mean that the programs weren't successful, but change occurs, and we all know that we need to adapt to this change. Whether the current state of your health and wellness program is non-existent, or you're not sure if it's effective anymore, maybe you've been doing the same thing for years, like the 51% other plan sponsors. We just want to find out what's working, what's not working, and what's missing from our program. So that's what we did here at BBD. A few weeks ago, when Candace was doing her webinar, she was asked by an attendee, what do I do if I've tried a health and wellness program and it did not work? So, I mean, if I would have responded and said, asking your employees for feedback is the answer to that question, and asking what it is that they want to see for a health and wellness program can give you an accurate area to focus on, as well as employees just appreciate the opportunity to voice their opinions. So this gives them a platform to do that. Now, not every office can accommodate a ping pong table, so if you're getting a lot of requests for those, maybe it's just a brain break station that employees want to see, and there are modifications that any office can implement besides the infamous ping pong table. If wellness initiatives are implemented that maybe aren't specific to the employee's needs, it might not be as effective as it could be. So understanding what it is that employees want and getting their feedback is key. An example that we found personally at BBD was that something that had a higher impact was our stress workshops, and everyone can relate to stressors, whether it's in the office or outside of work. So having this area has been very beneficial. So areas to consider to recap, these are the 3 areas that I would have considered, that I considered when we were doing our wellness program. So understanding why or what it is that your purpose is for having a wellness program, inviting and encouraging all employees with a health and wellness interest to join the conversation, and audit your current state, get employees' feedback to know where their interest is and where your program's at. To help with auditing your current health and wellness state, there's a few resources that we personally have found very useful. The first one that I want to share with you is one I spoke about earlier, and this is the annual employee engagement survey called the Employee Recommended Workplace, and this is offered through Globe and Mail and Morneau Shepell. The survey provides an individual report for employees who respond, and it helps them gain insight about their total health. It also provides a report to employers to gauge the overall level of health for employees, so what programs they're using and what programs they can do a better job of educating their employees on. This survey it runs every fall, or it's been running in the fall for the past 2 years, and if you're ever interested in participating, you can send me an email and I can send you some information, or just search up the Employee Recommended Workplace online. The second resource that I wanted to talk to you about is called Green Shield Change for Life. And if you have health benefits through Green Shield Canada, you should know about this, or you know something about it. And through their health portal, it's called Change for Life, and it's an online path to achieving better health, and you can even win great rewards. Available through your plan member online services, the health portal offers a health risk assessment questionnaire, and the platform provides the foundation for what you'll get next, which is a personalized report card, the overall health score, as well as a recommended action plan to help you take small steps to adopting healthier habits. Finally, to help gain consistency across our offices and work together on a national level, BBD has developed an internal and external health and wellness calendar. This is full of topics and themes that are covered for the 2018 calendar year. This calendar offers ideas, themes, initiatives that are based on not only Canada's health promotion calendar, but it also has other initiatives, and we're offering it for free to anyone who is looking to develop, revamp, or structure their health and wellness program. The link to download the calendar, if you're interested in receiving this, will be shared with all attendees in the follow-up email after the webinar. So back to our story, the resources that we just discussed were all very valuable in giving us insight into our next steps. In the past year, and based on the feedback, we worked on expanding our program beyond just physical health to a more holistic, healthy workplace. Like I said earlier, BBD's always supported employees with their physical health, and our holistic approach broadened our focus to 4 key components that interact and impact health and wellness. So the 4 areas are social. So this is based around our relationships and our interactions with others. At BBD, we have, in addition to our health and wellness committee, we have a social committee who plan events for our employees. The second area of focus is our financial holistic health category, and this focuses on money and savings, so trying to help employees understand their finances, things that impact their finances, giving them a better breakdown of their pay slips using a pay checker, and how they can save for retirement through a group retirement savings plan. And coming up in April, we actually have a big focus on financial health because we have our quote unquote saving for a rainy day campaign. The third area of focus is our mental, emotional, and resilience. So helping employees deal with the everyday life experiences at home or in the workplace. Like I said, everyone's subject to stressors and emotions and thoughts and feelings. So this is a big area of focus for us. And of course, the fourth and final area is going to be our physical, which brings movement and healthy lifestyle into an office environment. So to conclude, I think that what happens in one part of an employee's life often impacts all other parts. So by adding a bit of structure and planning, it can mean, a year's worth of wellness programming, and it can help to make your health and wellness for your employees to a new level. I hope that everyone attending the webinar found some value and you have a better idea about the areas that you can focus on when you're creating or updating or just starting your wellness program. So thank you very much to everyone.
Thanks, Tina. Just to remind everyone, before we jump into the Q&A portion of the webinar, that this webinar is being recorded. The recording will be sent to you in our follow-up email. As we go through the Q&A, please keep submitting your questions through the GoToWebinar question interface. So Tina, we have our first question here. What are some of the biggest challenges to overcome when building a health and wellness program?
I think one of the biggest challenges we had is the same that a lot of employers or organizations can appreciate, and that's just knowing how effective is our program and initiatives for our employees. You hear a lot about return on investment or ROI, and with a wellness program, it can be difficult to gauge, but for companies to report a positive ROI, you can just see it and hear it from your employees. And again, asking that feedback is pretty critical.
Thanks, Tina. Our next question. What kind of questions should I be asking when I survey my employees about the current and future state of health and wellness at our organization?
I think a few areas that you would want to ask your employees for feedback on would be first off, your corporate culture. So asking them if they have the perception that it's supporting wellness. Policies and procedures. So do those support a healthy workplace? Or in general, just asking about the programs that you offer. Do they enjoy the program, or do they want to see more like that? If you're interested, anyone attending the webinar, you can actually have access to the Healthy Workplaces questionnaire that we created here at BBD. The questionnaire has 5 sections and has multiple choice questions. So we did this with our health and wellness committees and other employees to gain feedback from them. So just send me an email and I can share with you the full survey that we used.
Thanks, Tina. I hope lots of people take you up on that resource. Our next question. I have a small organization and it would be hard for us to do any major health and wellness programs. Do you have any low cost or low administrative ideas that we could implement?
I think that there's a few ideas that you could do. If you're a smaller organization and you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of resources to be using towards the initiatives, I would say a couple of easy ones are around like fresh fruits and veggies maybe once a month in your office. An alternative to the ping pong table that I spoke about earlier could be the brain break corner. So maybe getting like a jigsaw puzzle to have in the corner for employees to take 5 minutes out of their day and do a piece of puzzle, or brain teasers. Maybe encouraging or challenging employees to do some walking meetings. There's always trivia games. Employees seem to really enjoy trivia games, so you can always incorporate those. If you're a larger organization, though, there's a different spectrum that you can be working with. So maybe standing or treadmill desks could be incorporated, or potentially a personal spending account for each employee to put towards their health and wellness.
As somebody who regularly takes advantage of either our treadmill desks or standing desks, that makes a huge difference. And what a small, cost-effective solution, especially when it's shared amongst people in the office. So thank you, Tina.
Nice.
Our next question, how would you recommend an employee encourage their employer to get on board with a wellness program?
Yeah, I think that if an employee wanted to encourage their employer to get on board with a wellness program, I would say write down your thoughts and write down what it is, again, starting with why and the purpose behind wanting to have a program. And I think the employer would start to appreciate what it is that the employees are looking for. Seeing if there's other employees who feel the same way, they could kind of present a little bit of a pitch to the employer to say, these are the things that we could be doing, and these are the benefits and the value that it would add to your organization. I don't think any employer would want to turn their nose up at that or turn away from that if they can see the opportunity there.
Thanks, Tina. This question circulates around the principle of holistic health that you talked about earlier. Which of the 4 aspects of holistic health should I focus on first?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say to focus on the area that you think is going to have the broadest impact on your employees or be able to reach a greater number of employees. So if you have a lot of employees that are remote, you may not necessarily want to focus on a physical element to your holistic health because those remote employees may not get to take advantage of those in-office events. Mental health is definitely one that is being focused on quite a bit right now, and there's a lot of resources that employees are able to use, whether it be like an EAP or the Not Myself Today campaign. That's definitely an area, but I would say if you're trying to focus on one over the others, it might just be better to kind of choose a little parts of each section so you're still getting that whole bigger picture.
Excellent, thank you. Next question. What are some of the benefits of the employee recommended workplace program?
To start off, I think that one, there's an employee benefit so that they get a reward, or not a rewards, I'm sorry, a breakdown of what their total health looks like. So they're able to see that personalized directly to them, and then they can incorporate that if they choose to into their personal or professional life. I think for the employer, there's the benefit of seeing the general report of their entire workforce and the breakdown that provides, so that gives them a better idea of what areas they can focus on. And then I think there is a component that's a rating scale, but that's really not something that had BBD excited because we knew that the value was coming from knowing where we could focus on internally. So yeah, I would say those are the 2 big parts that were most valuable.
Excellent, thank you, Tina. Next question. How often should the workplace strive to bring in physical exercise?
Depending on what the employees are looking for, I mean, we try to encourage it on a daily basis, not necessarily bringing in somebody in the office to run a physical event or anything like that, but I mean, encouraging walking meetings or encouraging people to stand when they answer the telephone. I mean, those are small things that are physical activities that you might not think about within a day-to-day basis, and you may not have the resources to be able to bring in somebody to run a yoga session or that kind of thing. But I would say try to encourage it as often as possible. It could be ergonomics, doing some light stretching at your desk. Just anything that helps employees move is really valuable.
Thanks, Tina. Emotional wellness is such a large part of our health. What are some things we can do in the office to work on this?
I think that we at BBD, we've got, like I said, the Not Myself campaign. And one of the biggest premises with this campaign is is reducing stigma around mental health. Not everyone's going to be on top of their game every day, and being able to just reduce the stigma and talk about it, to say, when somebody asks you how you are today, I'm doing all right, or if you want to have a conversation, that's great. But yeah, I think it's around reducing the stigma for mental health.
Excellent. Thank you, Tina. Well, that looks like all of our questions for this webinar. First, I'd like to say a big thank you to Christina Thorne for sharing how health and wellness works at BBD. As a continuation of the series, join us on Wednesday, March 7th, where we'll be chatting with Peter Gove, Greenshield Canada's Chief Innovation Officer, as he explains the value provided by wellness programming and the platforms available to you right now. Registration details will be made available on our social media channels as well as in the follow-up email for this webinar. Thank you again for joining us here today, and please enjoy the rest of your day.